Hello everyone. My name is Gurveen Kaur. I am lecturer at Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. So we are continuing with chapter number 4, and the topic which we will be going to cover today is water pollution. Now we all know what basically a water pollution is. Water pollution, it occurs when harmful substance like chemicals, microorganisms, they contaminate the streams, river, lake, oceans, aquifers, or any other water bodies, which it leads to degradation of the water quality. And what happens when human and animals consume this type of water, they have severe health effects. So, in simple words, I can say the alteration in the physical, chemical, and biological characteristic of the water can cause harmful effects on human as well as plant. Okay, now we all know that water is called as universal solvent. Why it is called as universal solvent? Because anything can get easily dissolved in the water, so water is vulnerable in that case. So if harmful substances get dissolved in it, the water becomes polluted easily, and it will have, or it is having, adverse effects if the polluted water is consumed. So this is what basically a water pollution is. Now, different sources of water, I have already covered this part in previous chapter. There are three sources of water. First is surface water, second is groundwater or subsurface water, and third one is the frozen water. These are the three types. This same concept is already covered in the previous chapter, and let's go through just in short. We all know that 70% of the earth is the surface water, which is filled with oceans, lake, rivers. These are what the basically the blue part on the map is called as the surface water. This water, it easily gets accumulated with the help of rain, and on the surface area it is accumulated over there. It is considered as the fresh water. So this water is consumed by many plants and consumed by humans, plants, animals, and also if these water bodies get polluted, then it will have a very huge effect, because the livelihood of the people is depending on the surface water only, because the percentage of fresh water is very small. So this was what you can say surface water. And we all know that this is the picture you can see over here, the shows which shows the surface water. And where there are holes and aquifers in the rocks, places and gaps in the rock, from that gaps the water, it stores down or moves to the down deeper level. When it moves down to the deeper level, that water is called as groundwater, or you can say subsurface water. Through pores or with the help of rock spaces between the rocks, the water is stored down at the deeper level, and that water is groundwater. This water is fresh as compared to any other water content. Why? Because the direct usage of this type of water is not available, because it is stored beneath the earth. It is stored in the deeper level at the surface of the earth. So this was groundwater. If you want detailed explanation, you can move to my go through my previous chapters over here. Over there I have explained it in detail. And third type of water is the frozen water, which are frozen in the form of iceberg, glaciers, or you can say ice caps. All the fresh water, it is stored in the form of frozen water. The water is frozen, so even that water is out of reach. The people cannot use that type of water. So it is also a bit of a disadvantage, because the water which is directly available to us, but it is we cannot use, as it is in the form of ice. So these were the three types. Now we'll move on to sources of water pollution. We understood what are different types of water. Now it is very much important to understand what are the sources. There are two types. First one is the point source, and second one is the non-point source. Point source means what? When the contamination originates from a single source. Again, I am repeating, when contamination originates from a single source, it is called as point source pollution. Example can be wastewater discharged legally or illegally by manufacturers, oil refineries, or wastewater treatment facilities, and as well as the contamination is created from leaking of the septic systems, chemical, oil spills, illegal dumping. So all these are what you can say point source from where the pollution is accumulated, from where the pollution is originated. In simple words, you can say it is there are specific locations through where the dump which is accumulated in the water through pipe, ditches, sewers, etc. are called as point source. Now let's talk about non-point source. Non-point source pollution, it is derived from diffuse sources. Diffuse sources means what? It can include agricultural or storm water runoff, debris which are blown into the waterways from the land, means like watershed management is there where the water is naturally accumulated, and agricultural water or the storm runoff water, these runoff water when get accumulated to those places become non-point source. Example also I have given over here, that runoff of the chemical from cropland into the surface water. Acid deposition means directly the water is running off to this type of places to surface water. So what is happening over there? Even those waters are contaminated. So this was non-point sources. Now we learn what are the sources, but it has certain deep effects also. So here certain causes and effects are given of water pollution. Number one is the infectious agent. Infectious agent example can be bacteria, viruses, parasite, worms. These are the examples. And sources, how these are created. They are created or produced with the due to human and animal waste only. When this waste they are not dumped properly or not taken care of properly, it leads to the production of bacteria, viruses, different type of viruses, parasitic worms, and this causes a very severe skin disease or body disease. Variety of diseases are happens. Variety of disease, people get prone to variety of disease due to this type of parasitic worms and bacteria. Second is oxygen demanding waste. Now oxygen demanding waste means what? The like animal manure. Okay, the manures or there are many dead plants and animals, they are decomposed by bacteria. Okay, so when they are decomposed, at that time also certain type of pollution is created. So that pollution is created, and the sources of that pollution is sewage, paper, means a dumping area over there where dead animals exist, and parasitic worms, certain worms and bacteria, they reside on those they reside on those animals. When they reside on those animals, they demand for oxygen. Okay, and when they demand for oxygen, it spoils. So when it comes in the contact of water, it spoils the water also, it spoils the area also, and it exists over there. So when it exists and get mixed up with the water, it is a highly dangerous, you can say. Okay, when these type of water they are mixed with the this type of disease, animals or bacteria get mixed up with the water, the oxygen content in the water also decreases, and it becomes very threat to drink that type of water. Third one is inorganic chemicals. Now inorganic chemicals can be water soluble inorganic chemicals, and the compounds of toxic metals such as lead, arsenic, cesium, then salt such as NaCl in the water. These are the components which are inorganic. They are not dissolvable in nature, and it is not good for the life. So sources can be again surface runoff when the soil gets contaminated, industrial chemicals, then household cleansing agents. All these things when they get mixed up with the water, they are inorganic in nature. They does not get dissolved. They get dissolved, but it is you can say not a good one for the consumption. So it leads to skin cancer, neck damage, damage of the nervous system, damage of the livers and kidneys, Then there are many other reasons also. So these are the basic ones which just I'm sharing with you all. Organic chemicals like oil, gasoline, plastic, pesticides, cleansing solvents, detergents, all these are organic chemicals. They are generated from industrial effluents, household cleansers, runoff from the farms. Okay, whatever runoff is there from the farms, from these places they are generated. And the effects it has is that uh, it causes the damage of the nervous system. It can cause cancer. It is harmful for fish and wildlife. Then last one is the radioactive material. Now the radioactive isotopes of iodine, radon, uranium, cesium, and thorium, all those in short you can say radioactive material generated from radioactive activities from the plants. These nuclear power plants are the sources, you can say, where such type of chemicals are generated. Mining areas, from there this type of chemicals are generated. Nuclear weapons, when they are produced, this also leads to the production of this type of chemicals. So what happens due to this genetic mutation takes place, birth defects are there, birth deficiencies take place, certain type of cancers take place. So consumption of contaminated water plays a very important role. Why? Because if this type of water is consumed, it will have, or even today it is having, adverse effects. Now we are lucky enough, we are having clean water for our daily uses, but the low lying area, the people who live on the road, they suffer from many disease. They are suffering from plants and animals, they are suffering from many types of disease or threat due to consuming of the spoiled water or contaminated water. Now we learned what are the causes, what are the effects, what are the types. Now uh, what effects, or you can say what measures should be taken, that is one of the most important thing. Because certain measures should be taken place by humans only. At human level, when certain changes will appear, then what will happen, changes will be seen in the environment. So I can suggest that reduce the use of plastic consumption. Okay, then reuse or recycle plastic whenever you can. Properly dispose the chemical cleaners, oils, and non biodegradable items. Why? Because when we throw it away, they get mixed up, with the soil on the earth. They get mixed up with the water, and when they get mixed up with the water, it becomes contaminated, and it is not good for consumption. Then maintain your car so it doesn't leak the oil and doesn't leak coolant. When they again, same thing will happen, mix up will be there. If you have a yard, consider landscaping that reduces the runoff. Okay, and also avoid applying pesticides, herbicides. So these are certain, you can say, measures which should be taken care by the people. Then suitable laws, standard practices should be framed to regulate pollution. Means strict laws should be there, so that people will be afraid of performing such type of activities. So you can say basically it's in the hand of the people only. When we will take the initiative, then only the government will take the initiative. When they'll say change in the environment, in the behavior of the people, automatically laws and actions will be there, strict actions will be taken. So these were the preventive measures. Now I'll explain y'all BIS water quality standards. Now what BIS water quality standards is all about? First of all, it is a standard which you can say used for the water quality. It is for maintaining the levels of the water qualities. So whatever water quality of the water we are getting, it is maintained by this standard. And the full form of BIS is Bureau of Indian Standards. They are specified for drinking water quality standards in India to provide safe drinking water to the people. So they are checking the levels of water, they are testing the quality of the water at regular intervals, and they are ensuring that the water is meeting the prescribed standards. And if it is not meeting the prescribed standard, then follow up is required. Certain measurement and certain techniques should be applied by the particular area, so that the water which the people are getting, water the people which are getting, the quality should be improved. Over here a report is given of how they are maintaining the standards. So first one is color, hazen, units and max. These are certain characteristics are present over here. So these characteristics helps to determine the quality of the water. So over here it is given requirement 5 and permissible 15. It means what? First of all, I'll talk about hazen. Hazen means what? Hazen is the color test, okay, and this color test, it uses a PtCO solution, means platinum cobalt solution. For color testing, a platinum cobalt solution is used, and using this solution, what we are doing, we are improving the quality of the water, where the color of the water is checked, okay, and when the color of the water is checked, it measures the concentration of the dissolved material in that. Suppose the color of the water is different, then the concentration will be higher. So that type of water, drinking that type of water will be difficult, will be a you can say no, not a good thing. So they are checking the concentration of the water. So over here levels are given. The levels start from 0, which is the lightest one, and you can say a transparent one, and 500 is the darkest. So over here 5 and 15 is given. That 5 is the basic one, that minimum 5 should be there, and if 5 is there, then the color is okay, and that water is permittable, that water the people can drink. 15 is there if suppose there is no alternate solution available. So 5 to 15, it's okay to drink that type of water. Then odor of the water, they are checking the odor of the water, whether they are not getting a different kind of odor. Then third, pH value is very much important. Over here range is given 6.5 to 8.5, and alternate is not available. If the range is between 6.5 to 8.5, then only that type of water can be consumed. If it crosses 8.6, then it cannot be consumed, and no alternate can be also used. So no option is available for this. Taste, once we can adjust with the taste, if because you'll notice that when we go to different states or villages over the each area, even in Mumbai, you'll find the taste of the water in Navi Mumbai certain different, in Thane different, and in Mumbai different. If anybody have gone to these places, there is certain difference in the taste, so that is agreeable, not an issue. Then is turbidity NTU max. Turbidity means what? The cloudiness of the liquid, means how much foggy a water can be. Over here also range is given. 1 is acceptable, and if in case there are no alternatives available, last range will be 5. Then dissolved solids, over here range is given 500, acceptable. If no options, 2000 is okay. The first 5, they play a very important role. Ammonia's range is also given. Ammonia should be 0.5. If 0.5 is not there, then no relaxation. Barium is there, 0.7, again same thing, no relaxation. Boron, calcium, copper, fluoride, iron, magnesium, manganese, nitrate. These are the chemicals, phenolic compounds, cesium, silver, sulfate. So all this compound which I am just going through with the names, the elements, they are having their range. If that range is available, it's okay. Some compounds you'll find that there are adjustable range in the alternative sources. For some, no compromise. No, if not there, then they'll not use the water, but only that much amount of content should be there, because if that content range raises, it will be very harmful for the regular users. So this is what BIS quality standard. So it is a Bureau of Indian Standard which is used for testing the quality of the water in every area. In regular intervals a checkup is done, so that water quality is maintained and people will get, or people are getting, fresh waters. Okay, so the next part in water pollution is flow diagram of water treatment plant. Now in this there are 4 steps available. The first step is coagulation and flocculation. In this step what happens? Chemicals are added in the water, which are in positive charge. So when they dissolved in the water, the positive charge of this chemical, it gets neutralized with the negative charge which is present in the dirt in the water. So when the positive charge and the negative charge, they get neutralized, they get bind with each other. At that time, larger particles are formed, and those larger particles are called as flock. Okay, so in the first step, flock, larger particles called as flock are produced. Second step is sedimentation. In sedimentation, the flock, which are the larger particles, they settles down at the bottom of the water supply. Due to heavy weight, it settles down at the bottom of the water supply. So this process is called as sedimentation. Third is filtration. So in this, what happens, once the flock settles down at the bottom level, the clear water will be visible on the top. Clear water will be there on the top. So this water will pass through filtration process. The filtration process includes different type of compounds and composition like sand, gravel, charcoal. And when the water is passing through that process, the water becomes more clean and filtration is done, and whatever small dust particles are there, they are resolved and they get dissolved. So over here, basically in this process, we deal with parasites, bacteria, viruses and chemicals. Last part is disinfection. In disinfection, what happens, when the water is filtered, a disinfectant is added in the water in order to kill any remaining bacteria, viruses which are available in the water, or which cannot be noticeable easily. That type of bacteria and viruses are killed by using disinfection in this. So water levels are improved, and this way filtration process takes place in the water treatment plant. Firstly, positive charge chemicals are added. You can see in this picture, this is the water treatment plant. In this, positively charged water chemicals are added in the water. How it is added, you can see here. The water is taken from the lake. In this preliminary treatment, the water moves through a traveling water screen. Protective water screens are used. From that, the water is traveling. Pumps are used to push the water at upper level. When they move in through the pipe, chlorination is done, pre-chlorination, where disinfect chemicals are added, and then the process of coagulation and flocculation takes place, where positive and negative charge binds together, and after binding together, what happens, flock is created. Then in sedimentation basin, what is happening, the heavy flock material, it settles down and lighter water is there on the upper area. That water then moves through sand and gravel, charcoal, that is filtration process. When water moves through the filtration process, it goes through the post chlorination point. Over here, the water is more clearer one, and then disinfectants are added in the water, so that extra sorry once the water moves from the post chlorination, what happens, then filtration is done, and then the water is moved through pumping areas. The water moves, and water is stored in the storage tank, or water is again stored in reservoirs, dams, or river areas, those type of areas, and then the waters are supplied to your home. So this is the process of water treatment plant, surface water supply basically. The last part of this chapter, the last part of water pollution is water conservation. In this, certain techniques should be used. We all know that the western washroom system, it requires a lot amount of water, so it's better to place a brick inside this water tank, so large amount of water is not used. We also know that laundry system, Indians perform the washing. Every Indians wash clothes at home. Hardly 20% are using the laundry facilities like Western cultures. Rest of the people are doing their clothing, washing their clothes at home only. So even at that time, the amount of water used is very much large. We should use precisely water. We should see the which type of cloth we are using. We should use wisely. Then even machine picking, washing machine picking, a proper washing machine plays an important role. Why? Because there are semi-automatic, fully automatic machines. Fully automatic machines, it requires lot of water consumption, so it's better to use semi-automatic or no automatic. Even the DIY, you might have seen there are machines which are used create a small machines are created which does not require electricity. So choosing a proper wisely machines wisely is important. Planting, then watering the plants wisely is also important, because over there also consumption of water is more. And then making use of shower with a slow amount of water passage, because if pumps are used there in in shower also wastage of water is there. Making use of dishwasher use is not there in India. People wash manually at their home, so even there the consumption of water, the usage of water is more. Dishwashers, they use a small percentage of water, so by this also water can be saved. Many more options are there for conserving waters, so we should apply those techniques in order to save the water.